Hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Talk. Well, today my guest is a business owner here in Chilliwack. She's the owner of it's called PickEco Refills. It's in a grocery store, I think. Well, we'll find out some of the products. Anyway, time to meet Salina Dee. Welcome to the show, Salina.
Hi, Nancy. Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So, when did you first open the store?
I opened PickEco Refills in June of 2018. So we've been open for, almost 6 years or
That's
over 6 years now. Sorry, we're going on our seventh year, I guess.
very good. Now, originally, I think you were in downtown area, and now you're out in Sardis, correct?
That's right. Yeah, when I first opened, we were on Mill Street in downtown Chilliwack. And in 2023, we moved to the Sardis location, which is right kind of on the corner of Keith Wilson and Vetter. Now we have a second location, PickEco Apothecary, which is sort of a miniature version in District 1881.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So tell me about, first of all, how you got involved in this type of business to begin with.
Oh, that's a long sorted story. So I had a government job and I was off work with my children, took 5 years care and nurturing leave. And during that time was trying to work on kind of getting more in touch with my values, which are very environmentally focused.
Mhm.
My in my own household, I was working on reducing waste and garbage. Um, at around the same time, I actually had really bad eczema on my hands and went to a specialist to find out what I was allergic to, and then ended up making a lot of my own personal care, skincare products and soaps. And while looking for ingredients, I came across a store in Vancouver called the Soap Dispensary, and went there. And what I loved about it was that I could buy exactly how much I wanted of a
Mm.
particular product. I didn't have to buy an
Package,
entire
yeah,
package
yeah.
of something. I could buy a tablespoon of this or a teaspoon of that. I really liked the business model, and I wish we had something like that in the Fraser Valley. And then, through my own waste reduction in my own household, I realized that most of the garbage comes into my house through my groceries.
Hmm.
So I was working on trying to find ways to reduce the waste there. And sort of, I think right around that time, the soap dispensary actually started bringing in food as well. They opened a second side of the store and did food, and I thought, wow, that like this is what we need here in Chilliwack. So I kind of took dove in and created a business plan and figured out my startup, and that's sort of how it came to be.
I think it's a good idea. Unfortunately, I don't drive, so I don't get there. But, even at the grocery store, having the bulk bins for me anyway, make a difference. If I can buy something out of the bulk bin rather than get a prepackaged thing, I will do that, right?
Definitely.
Unfortunately, most people are geared to just, well, not most, well, yeah, probably most people are geared to you being used to going to the grocery store and buy whatever in a package.
Yeah.
Has it over that length of time, has it changed in as are you getting more customers, more people involved in that, and in being more environmentally friendly?
Well, sadly, the pandemic really negatively impacted zero waste grocery stores. So right before the pandemic, we were on a great trajectory. More and more people were getting on board. Everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people were really focused on reducing their garbage and their waste. And a lot of people were willing to sort of like go to a different type of store or, shop in a different way. And then when COVID hit, we actually had I would say our sales stayed pretty inconsistent with what they were before.
Right.
Like on the same growth path as we were before, because we were a pretty new business when COVID happened. But what happened was Fraser Health came in and they required us to double our staffing levels because we had bulk food. So they either said like, shut down your bulk food section, which was almost entirely all of our business,
Okay.
or double your staffing levels. So we had to have one dedicated staff member to go and do the bulk foods, and then one for the till. And as a small business, that really was a huge impact. And because we did not drop revenue, and the basis was, did you drop revenue compared to the same month the year before? Well, the same month the year before, our business was only 6 months old.
Right.
So it wasn't really comparable, right? A brand new business. So because we didn't drop revenue, we didn't get those wage subsidies that other businesses got. And then what happened was, as things sort of got back to normal, and we were able to kind of like steady out our staffing levels again. By then, we were kind of hitting the recession. So things have been, I would say, sadly, steadily declining for the past year and a half with the recession. So, we're doing whatever we can to try to keep our doors open. Our
Yes.
move to the starter side was part of that.
Yeah.
Sadly, it didn't quite go how I thought it would, but just day by day, trying to get through it.
Yeah, for sure. As a lot of businesses, small businesses are, right?
Mhm.
I mean, and it's unfortunate that you kind of fell through the cracks when it comes to the government and that's that situation because
Definitely.
they don't look at the whole picture, do
They
they?
don't.
Which is too bad. For the people that the customers that you do have, is there a particular age group or does it vary greatly?
It varies a lot. When I was starting my business, I thought it would be a lot of people who were kind of like my age demographic, like,
Mhm.
people who have young children, or, maybe people who are like, in their late 20s, early 30s and, childless by choice. But what I've found is actually, my demographics are quite broad. I would say our average shopper is typically we have more women than men shopping at the store, but
Yeah.
it always surprises me because we have like, men coming in who've never been in before. Some of them are there because, their partners or their wives or whoever has come in with them before, and some of them are just in there on their own accord.
Right.
And we actually have a fairly decent sized population of like empty nesters,
Mhm.
or people who are retired because what they find is they really enjoy that they can come in and actually buy how much they need. So instead of, going to a grocery store and, they might be making a recipe and they don't need a big, you know, thing of spice that they're going to use like once at Christmas time. So, we'll have, old ladies who have like great grandchildren come in with like a little baggie and they're like, I just want 1 teaspoon of cardamom, please. And it just like it warms my heart because like that's the intention of the store is to help people reduce waste. And it's not necessarily just about the packaging, it's also about food waste because what's the point in, taking those resources to grow something, pick it, harvest it, process it, get it to the store, and then, 2/3 of it gets thrown away in somebody's house when they clean out their pantry once every few years.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm lucky because I'll share with my daughter and a couple of my sisters if I have too much of anything. But I hear what you're saying exactly. Especially when you're alone, it's really, really
Mhm.
difficult because nothing is packaged, just one, whatever
Exactly.
it is, maybe soap, but most items. So when people come in, do they know ahead of time or not that they should bring containers or reusable bags?
It depends. So, in the beginning, a lot of people were seeking us out. So they would come and, we'd have a person who would first walk through the door, never been in there before, and they would have jars. And we're always like, whoa, cool. Like you came prepared. That's awesome. Um, a lot of our customers would just happen upon us. They would see the store and walk in. So in which case they often wouldn't know, that they could bring containers from home, but we always have people covered. We have sanitized, recycled containers. We have people donate like, pasta sauce jars, pickle jars, those types of things, and we sanitize them. And then we have paper bags, like recycled paper bags for dry bulk goods. And then we also have like containers that people can purchase if you want, like a nice amber spray bottle for your cleaning products or those types of things. So if whether somebody is coming in prepared and they know what they want, and they came with their own containers, or whether they're coming in and they've never heard of the store before, typically we can help them out. Um, the other thing is even some of our regulars will pop in and they're like, oh, I, didn't come from home, so I don't have my jars with me. So we always make sure we can hook them up.
Okay. Do you always have a large supply of empty jars?
Yes, yeah, we get a lot of donations, especially the city of Chilliwack now does take glass recycling, but for a while they weren't taking it, and people had to take it, I think, to the return depot.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of glass recycling. People
Oh,
save
okay.
their jars for us.
Because like we're lucky in our building, like we have where our garage is, we have everything all the refundables, all the empty, but a bin for the jars, and somebody
Nice.
takes them to the recycle depot all the time,
Mhm.
which is really, really good. So I'm pleased about that. But I find like, at least where I live, with the people I live with, I mean, in the building, a lot of them are used to doing something one way, and they find it so difficult to change, you know?
Definitely.
like if you, I mean, most people are good with that with reusable bags, but other things like that, why are you using your carburetor or, when we can go just walk downstairs or take the elevator downstairs and put them in a compost bin, it's kind of
Yeah.
amazing. So, I'm just kind of wondering, like when people who've been to your store for the first time realize that, oh, wait a minute, I don't need to be doing such and such at home when I can come here, right?
I find like it really is a mindset thing because
Yeah.
um especially I feel like before the pandemic we'd have people coming in and they're like, okay, I'm going zero waste. And I'd be like, okay, stop, stop, stop. You're not going zero waste. It's like going on a diet, going on vacation. We all know you're coming back again. So like I always try to tell people like, just pick one thing, take one step.
Mm. Yeah.
So maybe this month that one step is I'm not going to get takeout cups from coffee shops. Like, I'm not gonna hit the Starbucks drive-through and get that cup. I'm gonna either bring coffee from home or I'm going to bring my own cup into Starbucks or wherever local coffee shop that you're going to hopefully. And once that one step becomes easy and you don't even have to think about it anymore and it's part of your regular routine and it doesn't feel like a hassle and it's not a pain, then take your next step. And I think that if people look at sustainability that way, it makes it a lot more like, and I go and I talk at public libraries and at environmental conferences and different events. And the talk that I do is literally called Attainable Sustainability because it's what's the point in making sustainable swaps if you can't actually sustain them long term? So we need to make it attainable, meaning that you can do this. It's not, making your life difficult and you
Right.
can sustain it long term. Because that's really what this is all about. It's not about, come in and shop at my store once and get yourself a whole bunch of these, beautiful wooden scoops and fancy glass jars and then, go back to your old ways. I would much prefer somebody come in, take a look around and be like, oh, shampoo, like the brand of shampoo that we carry, Carino Organics, is one that a lot of people have seen in stores before. And then you look at this, plastic bottle that it comes in. Well, it can be refilled. Like we've had customers who've been refilling the same plastic bottle for 5 years, where it's actually less work if you are the type of person that recycles. It's less work to refill your shampoo bottle than to try to wash the shampoo out of it so that it's clean enough to recycle properly. Like the amount of water that takes is insane. Whereas, if you're getting the same shampoo over and over, you can just come and like fill it and fill it. And you don't have to completely clean that bottle out every single time. We do recommend every once in a while that people clean their bottle, but you're not sitting there like
Yeah.
pouring water into a soapy container for 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of interesting, How do you find new products to bring in?
Typically it's customer based, like customer requests. In the beginning, there was a lot of product research and figuring out like what types of products. Once I was up and running, I get a lot of different companies reaching out to me saying like, hey, like we have this awesome product. We'd love for you to carry it. So that happens a lot. I do have to be careful though, because, we'll get people reaching out and they're saying like, I've got this awesome product. It's sustainable. And I'm like, oh, like what is sustainable about it? And they're like, well, it's made out of bamboo. I'm like, okay, well, where is it made? Is it still like, sometimes they're proposing like something that's still single use. And I'm like, okay, well, is it really sustainable to go grow bamboo in Asia and then turn it into a single use product and then ship it over to North America and for me to sell it to somebody and for them to still just use it once? And then even if it's compostable, that's not a sustainable business model. That's not a sustainable product. So I have pretty high standards as far as
Mm.
like what I consider sustainable. I have had to bend a little bit over the years. Once upon a time, I wouldn't bring anything into the store if it was plastic. And now I'm like, you know what? Like the Korean organic shampoo bottles, I would only carry the refills. And then I realized I was creating problems for people because then they're putting their shampoo in a glass bottle and then they're trying to transfer it into their plastic bottle at home and now they're wasting product. So we started just carrying, the plastic shampoo bottles, knowing that they're going to get used over and over again. So and then the other way I bring products in is customer requests. So if over and over we have customers saying like, can you carry this product? Can you carry this product? Eventually I'll be like, okay, like I'll find it, I'll bring it in for you.
Very good. Yeah. So now I believe you have a very large variety of items, right?
We do. Yeah, I think we refill over 1,000 products. So we're one of the like most comprehensive zero waste grocery stores in Canada.
Mm. Right. I'll have to get my daughter to take me in on her day
Yeah,
off
definitely.
because she'll be happy too. Because I know she likes to buy certain things. She likes to buy natural, and she can only find, like whether it's a coconut oil that she uses for her skin or
Yes,
certain kinds of honey and stuff like that, right? Um,
definitely.
Yeah, so that would be really good to check it out. So what's your actual address?
So the Sardis store is 5580 Vetter Road. So it's right at the corner of Keith Wilson Road and Vetter Road. There's a Starbucks in our parking lot, and we're like kitty corner from Garrison Crossing. The
Hmm.
town butcher is also right in there with us, so that's kind of a
Oh,
nice,
right.
people want to come and get their pantry staples and like cleaning products and personal care products from our store, and then head over to the town butcher and get any like meats and cheeses they need. It really kind of rounds out the shopping experience.
Yeah, right. And what are your hours?
So we are currently Monday to Friday, we are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Hmm.
Saturdays 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sundays are 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then we do have our downtown Chilliwack store as well in District 1881.
Right.
For the most part, we're 11 to 6 most days. I think Saturday we open at 10 instead of 11, but for the most part, 11 to 6 at the 1881 store. And that's in a little like pedestrian only sort of spot. So
Yeah, yeah,
people are familiar with District 1881. There's like Fortitude Wine Bar and Elevate Pizza. So we're kind of in that little section in the lane.
right. Okay. I'm not even used to that term 1881, like
Yeah.
that's fairly new. So I've been here since 1996, and it's like, okay, where is that? Just down the street
Yeah.
from me. Kind of interesting. So at your location, how many employees do you have?
So we have 11 employees total right now. So
Hmm.
I've got a few full-time people and then a couple part-time people. We also have a compost division. So we divert green waste from the landfills we pick up at stratas, apartment buildings, small businesses. So that's PickEco Compost. Some people will have seen the van around.
Okay.
And so we have one employee that does the compost as well. So that actually, the compost offsets our carbon emissions for the entire business. So green waste going to landfills creates methane, which is about 25 times more harmful of a greenhouse gas than CO2. So by diverting green waste from landfills, the we're preventing methane from entering the atmosphere, which is a huge warming impact.
See, people don't know those things. I think the average
I know.
person doesn't know those things, right? You think you're doing good by taking something to the landfill, and
Yeah, that green waste rotting in landfills is actually a really big problem. And you'll see at some landfills, typically more in the interior, you will see it where they actually have like a stack coming out of the landfill with a fire on top. And that's actually they're burning the methane that's being created under the ground because there's like aerobic and anaerobic conditions that things are composted. So people think it's the same whether food rots in a landfill or whether it rots in a compost pile, but it's
right,
actually quite different. When there's no oxygen present, it creates a lot more methane. Um, and so a lot of landfills that do take food waste still, they have these pipes that go down and bring the methane, like give it an escape mechanism essentially for the methane, and then they burn it when
right.
it's coming out because burning the methane is actually better for the environment than letting that pure methane into the atmosphere.
Sure, yeah. It's kind of interesting too, because I used to have a home, like a lot of people, a single home. And we always compost, and then we use that, for our gardens, right? So now I live in an apartment building, and we have areas to do garden, but it's hard to get anybody in here to just say, why aren't we using that compost ourselves? Making a garden outside. Why we have shrubs? We water shrubs, we water
Yeah.
grass. Makes me crazy, but yeah, people don't think the way I do, unfortunately. Well, not here anyway, or
Yeah,
do this
I
kind of
know
thing.
it's hard.
Oh,
It's
it's really,
we're people of convenience and we're people of habit, and I think sometimes and with like things that are happening right now in the world, it's pretty obvious I think to everybody that we need to make some changes, and
mm,
more people are making those changes, but then also like so many people are in survival mode, and as a small independent store, I can't always beat like grocery store prices. People are like, well, it's bulk, so it should be cheaper. It's like, well, like Save on Foods can buy a truckload of a product, whereas I can only buy like 20 kilograms of it. So,
sure.
the buying power isn't there. That being said, a lot of larger grocery stores that have bulk sections, or even just stores in general,
Mhm.
they market and they charge for their products what they know people will pay.
Yeah.
So a good example of that is vanilla. So a few years ago, there was a big a flood, and a lot of vanilla crops in Mexico were destroyed.
Okay.
So the vanilla prices went up substantially. You couldn't even get your hands on pure vanilla extract for a while. And vanilla prices like more than doubled. Now, a couple months later, the prices came back down again. We dropped our prices back down again. They actually never went back down quite as low as they were before,
Right.
which happens, but the prices came back down. We brought our prices back down. I went to a grocery store. I was picking up something else and I noticed that, their little thing of vanilla, their 50 ml bottle was like $17. And I was like,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
that's insane. Like this should be like $6.
Yeah.
Um, I know because I also carry vanilla in my store, and for us, like 100 ml bottle was like I think $12. So, um, and then it makes you realize that like they realized that people were going to pay $25 for that little bottle. So why would they ever go back to selling it for $6 or $7 when they can sell it for 16 or $17? They can make a higher profit margin that way.
That's
Whereas I
incredible.
don't think it's ethical to do business in that way. So I charge for my products based on the availability of the products and like how
Yeah.
readily available I can get them in and what I'm paying for them, which is to me the only thing that makes sense. But I guess that's the capitalist, trying to run an eco-friendly business that puts people and the planets before profits.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's true. Like I think more like you. I'm not so obviously. I'm not into it. I shouldn't say obviously because you don't know me that well. I'm not into as much, refundable and reusable and all that. I'm trying to do my best. But we get some free food here, and which we share with the building. And then anything that's left over, I refuse to put anything in the garbage. I refuse to let things rot. You know,
Yeah,
because then it's like, okay, then contact your family, contact your friends, or anybody. Go on the street, hand them out to the homeless. It doesn't matter. Just so all
yes,
these items are being eaten, because it's all free. It's all free. And I know some places are getting that same fruit. So some businesses are getting that same stuff and they're turning around and selling it. That's not
yeah,
ethical, in my opinion.
yeah,
So we have our opinions, right?
yes, definitely.
But anyway, okay, so we're just about out of time, but stay on camera. I just want to remind everybody that go check this out. It's local and I think people when they go to a new place that they haven't been before, sometimes they're very surprised with the things they can actually find. It's like, oh wow, this is really exciting to be able to do that, and maybe
Definitely.
get the message out to your friends, and just encourage everybody to go try, at least just have a look. And even for you, I'm sure, Selena, one item that somebody, buys for the first time, they're might going to return another time because they like it so much, right?
Absolutely.
So let's see if
Yeah,
we can get,
new people through the doors is what we're always trying to do because we have a small but very dedicated customer base and for long-term sustainability of the business we need to get a few more people in the door.
that, and that's on me. I got to get there too. I'm no
Well,
different from
be
anybody
happy to
else.
have you.
Yeah. So anyway, like I say, stay on camera. And to the audience, thank you very much for let's doing it. Sorry, we're watching the show. I hope you continue to do so. And when you see this interview, please share it with your friends so that other people can check it out. You don't have to be living only in Chilliwack to go there. I mean, obviously, you're not Abbotsford is not that far. Hope is not that far. There's lots of places. People are always looking for good places to shop for good items. So this is one place you can do that. So anyway, thank you, everybody, and hope that you see you soon. And Selena, thank you, and stay on camera. And I keep saying the same thing. Shut up, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
All right, take care, everybody, and peace out. Sorry about that, Selena.
No
Some,
worries.
sometimes I have trouble ending it. So this is going to air. I think it's next Monday
Okay,
around 4 o'clock, and I put it up on LinkedIn, Tumblr, and X, all those places.
nice.
Okay, and I'll definitely send you the link once it airs.
Sounds good. Thank you, Nancy.
So thanks again, and I hope if we get there, you'll be in the store whenever I go. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
It's up to my
Okay.
daughter. Like I said,
All right.
she's my driver. Okay, thanks again. If you ever want to be back on the show, by the way, no problem. Let me know. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Nancy. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye for now.